Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. Today we're going to take a look at the Dread Talons Detachment, and this is the Night Lords Detachment in the Chaos Space Marines Codex. The detachment rule is all about battle shock and has an inbuilt -1, which isn't too bad. And the enhancements do look a little bit on the disappointing side. A very battle shock orientated detachment with a lot of the stratagems built around this. There's a bit of movement buffs along the way with the stratagems, as well as one that adds a little bit of an additional AP. This would play well into some armies, but others it will hit a wall. They also have their own CSM squad from the recent kill team, as well as a resin Raptors kit, which is quite nice. Taking a look at the detachment rule. In the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase, if any enemy unit is below starting strength and within 12 inches of one or more Heretic Astartes unit, that enemy unit must take a battle shock test. As well as this, each time an enemy unit is within 12 inches of one or more of your Heretic Astartes units from your army, they'll take a battle shock test and it'll be at -1 inches, which is very nice. Although you do have to bear in mind that anytime an enemy unit is affected by this detachment rule, they don't need to take any other battle shock test in that phase. So it's important to note. Looking at the enhancements, the first one's called Night Shroud. This is for your Chaos Lord model only, and this is excluding the Terminate variant. Models in the Bearer's units have the stealth ability, which is quite nice. Next we have Willbreaker. This is for Heretic Astartes models only. In the fight phase, after the Bearer has made its attacks, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks. That unit must take a battle shock test. Then we have Warp Fueled Thrusters. This is for the Jump Chaos Lord only. And until the end of your opponent's phase, if the Bearer's unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy unit, you can remove the Bearer's unit from the battlefield and place it in strategic reserve. So a bit of movement shenanigans there for you. Finally, we have Eater of the Dread. This is the Heretic Astartes model only. At the start of your command phase, if the Bearer is on the battlefield, roll 1d6. In addition to this, you add 1 to the result for each battle shocked enemy unit that is on the battlefield. On a 5+, you gain 1 CP. Over to the stratagems. First we have Deathless Cruelty. This is a battle tactic for 1 CP. This is during the fight phase, and this is for an Astartes infantry unit. Each attack that targets a unit that is battle shocked or below half strength, you increase the AP by 1, which is very nice. Then we have Bloody Example, Epic Deed for 1 CP. This is during the fight phase after Astartes unit has destroyed a character, and this is for that specific Astartes unit. Each enemy unit within 12 inches that is visible must take a battle shock test. Then we have Pitiless Hunters, is a battle tactic for 1 CP. This is during your shooting phase, and this is for 1 Astartes unit. To the end of the phase, each time an attack targets a unit that is battle shocked and or is below half strength, you get to reroll the hit and the wound. So this is quite nice here. So it is whether they are battle shocked or they are at half strength, so you don't always have to have a unit that is a battle shock, and for 1 CP to get the reroll to hit and wound is very nice to have. Then we have Screaming Descent, Strategic Ploy for 1 CP. This is during your reinforcement phase from the second turn onwards, and this is for 1 Heretic Jump Pack unit that is in reserves. They can set up anywhere outside of 3 inches horizontally from an enemy unit, but you do have to bear in mind that this unit is then not eligible to charge. You can then select 1 infantry or mounted unit with 6 inches, and that unit must take a battle shock test. Then we have Relentless Terror, Strategic Ploy for 1 CP, and this is during your movement phase after a unit falls back, and this is for the Astartes infantry unit. To the end of the phase, this unit is eligible to charge. So essentially, in your movement phase, you can fall back, use this stratagem, and you'll still be able to charge the next turn. Then we have Merciless Pursuit, Epic Deed for 1 CP. This is the end of your opponent's movement phase, and this is for an infantry unit not in engagement range. So 1 enemy unit that's fell back within 6 inches of your unit, you can declare charge against this unit as if it is your charge phase. It's important to note though that this is the only unit that you can charge, and you will not benefit from any charge bonuses. Over to the buffs and combos. For the Raptors, you want to really utilize the Screaming Descent to come in within 3 inches and force a battle shock test. And the army rule will give you -1 to this test, which is quite nice. The Raptor rule will also push this with their -1 to a -2 for the test. So a lot of armies is going to cause a breakpoint where they're more likely than not to fail this test. And if they do fail the test, then you do have the Chaos Lord free strat to use, which is the Pitiless Hunters, which gets you to reroll hits and wounds for your ranged attacks against this unit because they failed the test. That's 4 rerolls. Then you do get to unleash not the most amount of damage, but it's 2 bolt pistols, 2 plasma pistols, and 2 melter guns. So you can do a fair bit of damage, especially if it's to an individual target or a really tough unit. Having the potential to have 4 rerolls on 2 melter guns is quite nice when you are doing d6 damage for each one you punch through. They'll also have 6 objective control on the objective. So once you've landed within 3 inches, you're probably going to be contesting it anyway. And then with the plasma pistols and the melter guns, you should be able to wipe off a couple of models, which will flip it into your possession. And this will prevent your opponent from scoring during their command phase. It's also going to force them to take a battle shock test, and it will be at the -2 during their command phase, which is very important because they won't be able to use stratagems on the unit if they do fail it. And if they do fail it, and they are trying to retake this objective for you, it means they really have to focus on putting more models onto the objective to make sure they can take it from you. Because if they are on 0 OC for that unit, even if they knock you off of it, they will not own it. It will then just be a contested objective. So they're going to have to dedicate more units to move onto it and more firepower to put onto these guys to try and knock them off. You've then got the warp-fueled thruster enhancement, which does give you the ability to pop back into the sky at the end of your opponent's turn when you're not engagement range. So this does give you the nice little ability if they haven't managed to knock you off, but they have regained control. You can pop up into the sky on your turn and come down on their turn, and come down on your turn elsewhere on the battlefield to potentially score victory points in a different manner. And this might be because you don't think you can retake that objective, but you can get maybe behind enemy lines or something, engage on all fronts, or even land on another objective to flip that one instead. You've got the Warp Talons as well, which is something you're probably going to lean into a little bit. They will get the additional AP via the Depthless Cruelty strat, and this would take them to a very nice -3 AP. So when you're going into Space Marines, for example, if they're not using Armor of Contempt with your Warp Talons, you're going to be putting them on 6s to save, which is very good. You're going to take a minimum of 2 Warp Talons, I would imagine, especially if it's just a 5-man unit in all of your lists. So this detachment is not really about doing damage. It's not going to alpha strike. It's not going to beta strike. That's not what it's been designed to do. What you really need to do is focus on your movement to score victory points and force your opponent to really think about their strategy and tactics and how they're going to engage with you, because it's always going to be on your turn because you've got all the movement and you've got all the abilities to cause battle shock. So you really want to have everything on your terms. When the battle shock does go off, which will, because you'll be forcing battle shocks so often that they are going to go off even against the toughest of opponents, and it's going to prevent them from using stratagems, and it's going to help you take objectives. It will be a quite difficult detachment to play. It's not a point and click like some armies are in the game. You are really going to have to play it with a lot of finesse and a lot of skill, and you're going to have to think out each and individual battle round to try and secure your victory points and prevent your opponent from scoring points, because you don't have an awful lot of damage you can do. It's really a shame that they didn't add battle line to Warp Talons and Raptors like they have done for certain units and other detachments and other codexes. It really cater this army towards being that fast, hard-hitting, bounces from the skies, punches you in the face and disappears again, adding that terror aspect to it when it is causing you that battle shock. If you liked the video, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to see all future content. If you want to support the channel, consider getting a membership or popping across to Patreon. Take out these other videos. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.